I'm Karen Rice, and I am with the WIC Network Rocky Mountain chapter. I do work for a cable provider. At the cable provider, I'm a senior director for technical delivery, so I have a large team of technical program managers. And then my other job is as the director for general programming. I'm a co-director with Nina, and for the Rocky Mountain chapter of the WIC Network. And we actually, we're the organization that sponsored this event with. So I watched it on my own, and I'm probably glad I did because it made me very emotional. So, and I think that's something that's maybe more comfortable in a personal environment. And I've actually talked to some people that, have watched it outside of that group event or rewatched it, just because it was impactful and, made them very emotional. So I think that was a shared experience. But, this is one of the things I think Felicia also touched on was just talking about the mental and physical impacts of some of the situations that we are in, in our career. And I work in a male-dominated industry. I have been for 25 years, so I probably have a lot of stories I could tell. And the physical and mental stuff, I think, is significant to me. When I was 25, I was diagnosed with lupus. I had cancer when I was 40. I have had like 12 surgeries in my life. I have a lot of health issues. And, kind of balancing that and figuring out, is it worth it to me, right? Because there's such a mental stress and strain on me professionally. And then I'm dealing with these physical things that I'm kind of trying to hide in the background. And it is quite challenging. And I think that kind of that recognition really resonated with me. So. I think it made me realize that I do have, I guess, options, but those are choices I need to make, and that I would say I am a few years away from early retirement. I am in my later 50s, and I've been considering, when do I want to retire. And I think that I always feel like I'm a slave to the money and the job, but reality is, sometimes you have to make decisions for your own mental and physical well-being, and just for you as a person. And I know that I've done great things in my career, so I don't necessarily feel like I'm giving something up, but I also probably haven't gotten where I want to be, but I don't know if I care anymore. I don't know if that matters. So it's kind of made me do a little reevaluation of where I am, in my career and my life. So. I loved the session. I've mentioned I thought Kimberly did a great job facilitating, and you, Jimmy, your energy and your passion, that's just contagious. So I love that part of it. I think that it was very impactful for me, and it makes you feel empowered. And that's why I said, I've been kind of thinking about like where I am. If I can share, like, I've been in a senior director role for 8 years. My male counterparts who were directors when I started working with them have long since become VPs, and I have never really been. I've tried, but I've never really been given a VP opportunity. And it made me consider those things and think about that and think, well, what do I really want, right? And maybe being a VP isn't the be all end all for me. Maybe it's just being, doing something that I'm enjoy and I'm passionate about, and having a team that respects me, and kind of, I think it's just like, what do I want to get out of the last few years of my career? So. That, I guess, like I've said, I feel like I'm kind of in a period of transformation. So I say, rather than to say like, oh, this tour, this thing, I guess I will draw inspiration and it makes you feel like it's okay to have these feelings, if that makes sense. Like, right, these are the kind of things when you do feel overwhelmed or you are feeling the impacts of the stressors at work and the things going on in your life. I think, I am the kind that I'm resilient. I just put on the happy face and go along with it and pretend it's okay. But for me now, I think it is recognizing that, hey, it's okay to feel that way. It is okay to be this. And I did like, I think you used the term idea diarrhea, but it's an interesting thing to reflect on, right? Do you always have to share your opinion? Do you always have to say, this is what I think we should do? So it made you kind of think about those situations, right? And maybe you save it and say what's meaningful, but you don't have to always blurt out your ideas. So 100%. I mean, that's really why I have been on the board for the WIC network for several years and doing general programming so that we can, bring events like this to our members. They are very meaningful, they are very impactful, and they are 100% necessary. Obviously, we live in a not to be political, but we live in a country where DE&I is kind of being squashed, and that scares me. So these types of things are 100% important to do. I have always been an advocate for other women in the industry, and we got to build each other up, and we've got to provide these opportunities for folks, because they're becoming less available and frequent. So I think it's even more important now in the environment we're in. I would say it was awesome. I think we worked some with Nancy, Carl, a bit with Pauline, and your team was amazing, Jimmy. Very organized, very structured. I felt that it went well as we moved through the process. You guys made it easy, very organized, and the resources were there. The toolkit is extremely helpful. The scheduling, everything, and you guys really accommodated us. I know we're in very different time zones, so we appreciate that in terms of the event. So yeah, you guys made it easy, and my responsibility and Nina's was to coordinate this across 11 chapters. So that was a pretty big undertaking, and because of how your team handled it, you made it easy for us. So we really appreciate that.
What
So I would tell you, I mean, I read through just some of the feedback that we got in the chat, and we are now doing a post-event survey, but I think everybody is consistently said, that it was just, I guess it was like the best. Several people said it was the best WIC session they've ever been to. So that is very significant, because we do 12 events a year roughly. So that was, that was great. I loved hearing that. And I think, just the tools that you shared, folks commented on, that was a gift. They appreciated your wisdom, the insight, again, your enthusiasm and passion for this. So I got amazing feedback from folks, and several people say it's the best session they've ever been to. We are collecting more feedback now, but it was just a great event, and it was probably the first time that the WIC network has done this large of event across chapters. So I think there is now visibility for you, for your film, what you do. There are groups that are going to rewatch it together. So I think it's just was a hugely successful event, and I think so many takeaways from the folks that participated. Just Jimmy, you are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for doing this for us. I would say I would love to have you come to one of the bigger WIC events. The WIC network does like a big conference in New York every year. There's other events that they do, executive training and stuff. So I think it would be amazing if they could have you do another event for us. So just thank you so much for doing this film. Thank you so much for being so open and honest and raw about it. Just incredibly impactful for me. So thank you.